Mic check, mic check. We in the building. Time on deck. 1918 for you jawheads out there, you military types. 718 for the civilians. We on your side now, but it's still always in the heart. Man, get in the comment section. Let us know where you rocking with us from. We got Greensboro, North Carolina in the building. We got San Antonio, Texas in the building. We got
Yeah.
Dallas, Texas in the building. And we got the outskirts out in the country of Atlanta, Georgia. And man, wherever you rocking from, just let us know. Man, we ready to get in. This is gonna be phenomenal. The young man that we have with us today is a special individual, bro. Special individual once again. And man, the format that we've been running is organic, authentic. That's how we get down. That's how we always chop. So without further ado, I'm gonna pass it to the man of the hour, Brother Stu Maynard. You got it, bro.
Man. Yeah. Welcome everybody. Another live session here with one of the co-authors of the Born to Risk Veterans Edition, our brother Eddy Arce. Gosh, man. First, let's just start off, and I told Eddie this before we started, with a compliment, with the beautiful beard. Oh my
Yeah, no doubt.
goodness.
No doubt.
Dude has a beautiful beard. Aaron Gordon last night, beautiful beard. Javier, beautiful beard. I don't know if that's a trend or what, but man, we just want to thank you, bro, for being on here with us. Uh, we can't say thank you enough for your contributions, not only while you're on active duty, but more importantly, the things that you're doing right now for the veteran community. But
Yes, sir.
before we get into that, Eddie, uh, you're chapter 10 of the book. The title of your chapter is Weight of Want.
Yes, sir.
For anybody who hasn't bought the book, read your chapter, how did you come to that subject, weight of want?
Um, actually, man, it was actually in the middle of a conversation I was having, and we kept talking about the weight of success, especially when you're serving. And obviously, I can't speak on other service members and other branches. I can only speak enough on the Marine Corps. But if you're committed to the institution, there's a lot of weight on them shoulders, regardless of MOS. And I- when you're thinking about uh, orders, promotions, billets, especially for that E9 community, right? Them sergeant majors, first sergeants, right? Billets is a real, that's where they make their money, right? So when I started thinking about it, especially what my chapter was about, man, it really was a weight on my shoulders of what I wanted, but it was also a weight of what I neglected. You know what I'm saying? In that process. And that's pretty much where I came up with that, man. The weight of want. Oh,
My bad, I was muted. What kind of weight were you carrying? Were you carrying the weight of being on active duty, being in the Marine Corps, or was it more? Uh, we talked to Evans John Vier the other night about that collision when he had to come to the fork in the road and make a decision about continuing his career in the Marine Corps and then taking care of his obligations as a father. And I know, based on reading your chapter multiple times, where this is going to go, but give the people an insight of the other weight that you were carrying.
obviously we all want to be successful when we wear that uniform, regardless of rank, right?
Right.
But at some point in your careers, a lot of us became fathers, right? And especially at a young age, and you're trying to balance that, right? You're trying to figure out how can I be a great father but also be a great Marine. And a lot of us think because we come home every day, right, and we're in the house and we're present, um we think that we're good parents, right? We say
Yeah.
no, we say yes, we give birthday gifts, we go to dinner, we take them to the movies. But in the back of all our minds, right, you got fitness reports coming up, you got fucking orders coming up. If you're a hat, right, you on cycle, you got pickup coming up, PCS season coming up, that, oh, hey, you gotta go, we gotta send you to whatever state, country for, some kind of meeting or convention, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
And you're just never, you're physically present, but you're not mentally and emotionally in that moment, right?
Yeah.
You want to be,
Yeah.
right? In your head, you're telling yourself you are. But as you get older and you start looking back at a lot of the things, you realize that, or at least for me, right? This is all going to be how I felt in those situations. You look back and there's a lot of times on the depot, Okinawa, Quantico, Maryland, all my duty stations, I realized
Yeah.
that I really was never present for my daughter's life. She saw
Yeah.
me as much as she could. We spent a lot of holidays. We did a lot of things together. And we made a lot of great memories at the same time. But I also know that there was a lot of times I just was never there, right? It was
Yeah.
just another weekend with my daughter, let's move on, right? Because it
Yeah.
was it became a cycle. It became, I got used to it,
Yeah.
and and you want to believe that you did the right thing and there was a level of commitment, but I know emotionally, I know that I wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
And even after retirement, I struggled with that. I mean, there was a point where my daughter moved in with me and I got custody of her and I had her all through high school. And as good as of a relationship I thought we had, I realized there was a lot of gaps in our relationship, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be my fault, hers, her mother's, whatever. I'm not pointing blame at this point. I just realized for me, there was a lot of things that I could have probably done better, right? But at the
Absolutely.
same time, what do you sacrifice? Like what JV was talking about, like what do you sacrifice? You can't you. And there may be people that disagree, but you can't be successful at both. Something's got to give. You can't be a full-time parent and a full-time Marine. Not if you care. Not if you care about the product that you're trying to put
Yeah.
out. Not if you care about your ultimate end state, right? For many, it's a rank. For many, it may be just a monetary value, compensation, whatever the case may be. There's an end state for everyone's goal when you wear the uniform. Um, but what were you willing to give up for that? And for me, I gave up that relationship, and that's what I
Yeah.
sacrificed because I wanted to be so successful. And you tell yourself, oh, I want to do it, for my mother. I want to show my family how successful I got, in
Hmm.
regards to my upbringing. I want to be the best person or the best version I can be. And but you're never saying how can I be a better father? How can I be present? How can I, sit down and listen? I'm not just hearing you, but let me listen. And I've never done any of those, right? And that's what kind of brought me to writing the chapter that I wrote.
Man, as the father of four daughters myself,
Oof.
I connected immediately with what you were saying because you're spot on. I was there, but I wasn't there. And even when I was there, mentally, I was thinking about other things instead of trying to give my daughters the undivided attention that they deserve.
Yes, sir.
Fortunately, fortunately, my wife filled in that gap, but it didn't make up my obligations to them.
Yes.
And that is what resonated with me so much with you and your story because I'm like, I could be telling this same story about my shortcomings, dealing and wanting to invest more time with my daughters than I did. There's somebody out there listening that may be on active duty right now who is feeling that burden or feeling the weight, right? You and I made those mistakes. What kind of advice would you give to someone on active duty who is carrying that weight and
Man,
feeling the burden, right? Because
bro.
it's almost like you're in a no-win situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a tough question to answer only because everyone's career is gonna everyone's journey is different, right? Everyone's marriage is different, baby
Yeah.
mama, baby father, whatever the case may be, right? But the truth is, man, if I could have done it all over again, um, I definitely would have put a lot more commitment into my daughter's life and our relationship. I'm not talking about being there. I'm just talking about uh, building a relationship that's almost like concrete, like it's as solid as it comes.
Yeah.
you know, and that's the one regret. You know, look, man, if you put that uniform on, we all have regrets, right? We all do.
You're gonna
Friendships,
give up something.
relationships, you're gonna give up something. Exactly, man. But what I gave up, it just wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. You know, when I look back at it and where I'm at now, um, and the biggest thing I've learned, bro, is when you retire and you're done. I've been retired for 7 years now. Um, but when I retired, you know, and I look back at it, it's like no one cares, bro. No one cares what rank you wore on your collar.
Nope.
No one cares what billet you served. No one cares that you was stationed in this location or you were stationed here. The only ones
Nope.
that care is the ones who don that Marine Corps fucking emblem, bro. Right? We the
Yep.
only ones that care about that. I've been at events, believe it or not, man, and this is kind of sad, bro. I've been events talking to veterans, and mind you, bro, I'm a retired master sergeant, right? I've been talking to events, and I've been told I'm not a sergeant major, so they don't want to talk to me. Bro, that is the most ignorant thing I have ever heard in my life. I've heard things such as, "Hey,
Jeez.
where's your car?" I said, "My car." I said, "My vehicle's in the parking lot. What are you talking about?" You know, and they're like, "No, your combat action ribbon." And I'm like, what does one have to do with the other? I'm not gonna say I have one. I don't have one, right?
Neither
But
do I.
the idea that a combat action ribbon describes your whole career and who you are is ridiculous. Like, do you even
Yeah.
know what that means? I said, look, brother. I said, you can choose to work with me or not. I'm not gonna beg anybody. We all grown ass men and women. I said, but the truth
Right.
of the matter is, I said there are individuals that serve that combat action ribbon was fucking earned. Like every bit of it was fucking earned, and they deal with
Yep.
those demons day out and day in, right? And
Yep.
there's a slew. There's even more veterans that serve with a combat action ribbon that just happen to be in the distant and just happen to pop off a couple rounds. And they got a young platoon commander that was like, "Ooh, today's our
Yeah.
day," right? And they use that as a descriptive title, like it makes you better. And the truth of the matter is that combat action ribbon comes with a price if it was earned,
Yeah.
if it truly was earned, right? So
Wow.
it's unfortunate that I deal with veterans, and we can be our worst enemy. Veterans as a whole, and especially Marines, man, we could be our worst enemy. We put ourselves in a box, and we do more damage to ourselves than the world does, right? Like we
Hmm.
are our own worst enemy, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever the case may be. We do more damage to ourselves than the rest of the world will do to us. And
Wow.
I see it daily, man. I see it daily.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask Coach T.O. this, right? Because Eddie, you and I, we went on the other side of the enlisted ranks, right? We were fortunate enough to be
Oh
master
yeah, yeah,
sergeants,
yeah, yeah.
master gunnery sergeants. As bad
Yes,
as I thought
sir.
I wanted to be a first sergeant or a sergeant major,
Yeah.
man, the
I did
Marine
too, bro.
Corps,
I did too.
the Marine Corps said, "Nah, you need to be a master sergeant."
Yep.
I rejected it, but
I was
fast
so
forward
upset when
all
I
of
got selected for master sergeant, bro. Bro, look, man, I was at the Mew, and when the list came out and I looked at my name, bro, I grabbed my shit and left. And everyone's congratulating me in the hallways, and I was so pissed off. And then within I got pinned on fairly quick. And then, bro, after like 6 months, I was like, thank God. Thank you, Jesus. Bro, I was getting calls. Hey, Master Sergeant, I need a couple Marines. Oh, big dog, I'm already headed home, man. I'm sorry, bro. Hey, I'm going through the gate right now, brother. Have a good day. I'll hit you up in the morning.
yeah.
Boom.
So I'm gonna ask To, right. So as a retired sergeant major, you and Coach Robbie Lytle, I through my observation, it's not the master sergeants or the master gunnery sergeants that still hold on to those titles and billets once we retire. Like once we retire, we retired. I'm Stu Maynard. not seeing the same parallels with some of my fellow first sergeants major who want to continually walk around with the chevron pinned on their shirt, or they want people to refer to them as sergeant major or their billet. And I'm like, bro, them days are over. Nobody give a crap that
Yeah,
you
man.
were the meth sergeant major. What can you do for this company as John Smith?
Oh,
You're
T, I
muted,
don't think
bro.
we can hear you, brother. I
Yeah,
think you're
T.O.,
muted.
you're muted. So I'm gonna go to Robbie.
Man, y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's the biggest downfall, I think, and it's catastrophic, not only to their ego, but it's to their livelihood and their lives as they try to maneuver through life, kind of lost, not understanding why they're not getting the responses that they think that they deserve. Um, and I know why it is. It's because they've associated who they are as an individual human being with what they wore on their collar. And it's
Oh,
a little
yes.
different than me because I'm still working within, doing some stuff with cadets and stuff in the RTC here and there. So I still run around with that, but I've never, and that's one thing that RC, you're the same way, man. Stu, the same way. It really probably, whether y'all had first sergeant major, retired, it doesn't matter with you all because you didn't associate yourself with the rank itself. And I don't think
Oh,
any
yeah, yeah.
three of us, and I know
No.
TO didn't. And that's
No.
that's kind of been the beauty of it. And I think that's why you still can look yourself in the mirror because you never lost your identity along the way. That journey, being a Marine was a phenomenal journey. It was a
Oh,
great
yes.
occupation. I wouldn't change it for the world, but it's almost like that drill instructor that leaves Paris Island or MCRD San Diego, and they cannot put down that campaign cover.
They don't turn it off.
Yeah, they can't turn that off. The first sergeant or sergeant major or 8999 that leaves the service and still expects that same because you never the gift that we received on active duty was that you got the respect because what the legacy of the rank was anyway. You know what I mean? You got that as it came along. It's just tradition and the way we do business. That was a gift. So you got a little bit of street cred by what you had on your collar until you proved otherwise, just by association of what it represents. However, when you leave, and that's the same with anybody. If you leave as a sergeant or a sergeant major or a forward colonel, you're absolutely right. Nobody cares.
Nah.
What people care about is what can you do for me now?
Yep.
And thank you for your service.
For your service, yeah.
But you already served, and didn't you get paid on the 1st and 15th the whole time you was in?
Yeah, and again, that's not throwing shade at any.
Oh,
no,
not at all. Not at all.
It's just trying to explain how we gotta separate what we did while we were on active duty versus who you are as a man, as a woman, and not expecting people to bow down and kowtow to you because you held a certain rank or a certain billet. And I know, Eddie, working
nobody
in the
owes
VA,
you anything.
Nobody owes you anything. And when I go to the VA, they say Steve Maynard.
Yes.
Not the guns, not the billets that I held. Steve Maynard, are you here to get
Yep.
at this appointment?
I don't give him my rank when I check in at the front counter.
Yeah.
I give him my first name and my last name and my last four. That's it.
Matter of fact, they don't even ask. They don't care.
They don't care.
You know when they do care? Usually when you're being polite to them.
Yes.
Usually when you're on the phone or being polite and using respect with that Navy Federal person or the person from the VA, you're showing a little respect. Then they give you your title that you so-called earned. But if you're getting, I mean, lack of respect doesn't get you anything, and that damn rank you held don't.
Yeah, and I've noticed a lot of definitely for sure, and I've noticed a lot of people, and obviously I don't think this applies to anyone here, but in my retirement, I've noticed, we all retire at some point, whether you do 20, 30, whatever the case is. But there's a lot of people out there that retire and they were never ready to retire. They want everyone to believe that they were ready to retire, and they trying to sell the idea that they were ready to move on.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter, if you was ready to move on, right, that transition is seamless. That transition feels natural because you're not looking back anymore. You're not
Indeed.
looking, you're not holding on to what you had for so long because you're ready for the next chapter.
Yes.
Look, bro, there will never be a point in my life that I am not grateful for the Marine Corps. That shit saved me.
Absolutely.
I would not be
Absolutely.
where I'm at today if I did not join the service. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? The Marine Corps, and I don't mean by compensation. I don't mean by money. I don't mean by
Yeah.
getting paid every first and the 15th. I mean by
Nah.
the level of individuals like you gentlemen, right? The leaders that I fell under, those mentors that I fell under, that were able to look at me and say, that Marine right there, he's gonna be something one day, right? He just needs to let me get him on track,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And show me. And I look, bro, when I was young and I was, hey Gunny, hey, what you doing for Christmas? Hey, come to my house, right? And I go to some Gunny's house, and this motherfucker house is big as shit, and I'm like, well, goddamn, this is what I want,
Yeah.
right? Fucking master guns rolling up, Benz, and in my head, I'm thinking like, holy shit, I want that. It doesn't happen until you start getting older and realizing and start being a little bit more responsible with your money, your career decisions, and so on. You start realizing, like, man, I got more value in that individual showing me something than a dollar value attached to it, right? And I've
That's
been
right.
grateful to meet individuals like Rob, like Stu, like T, right? Like, yo, we are individuals that I'm not better than you and vice versa. We share information to equally grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
There it
If
is.
I go to Clay's house in Atlanta and I see what he was able to produce with him and his family, right? Again, not a dollar value. I'm talking about enrichment, right? His
Yes.
growth of his family, right? Watching Cassius, watching, his family just blossom into what they
Yeah.
are. Bro. I know for a fact that man did everything in his career to get to where he's at right now. And what he did most importantly was listen to somebody.
That's a
Yeah.
fact.
Right?
Yep.
When
That's a fact.
Rob, Stu, when you guys got to Professor, right? That doesn't come because you were just, hey, you sat on the gravy train, you collected a check on the 1st and the 15th, and you just happened to
Right.
get lucky. No, that comes from grinding, that comes from listening, that comes with setting goals, small goals, large goals, distant goals. You're always trying to grow. And I'm a firm believer, if you're not in it to grow professionally and personally, you're falling back.
Yeah.
I always love learning something.
Man,
I
lifelong.
mean, lifelong. Exactly. I'm a lifelong student, right? And I'm not gonna lifelong college student. Yeah, I should kiss my ass for that shit. I got
Come
that
on,
check in
Eddy.
the box. I got that check in the box, bro. I ain't trying to be no professor, but
Right.
I ain't trying to teach nobody nothing. But nonetheless, bro, I'm always willing to learn, especially if it's gonna make me a better person, right? And so when going back to the book, man, when T reached out to me, I stumbled a little bit because I was like, "The fuck am I gonna talk about?"
Right.
Right? Who wants to listen to me?
And let's go.
I,
Let's go,
you know what I'm
bro.
saying? Like, what did I accomplish that is so I didn't do? I did deploy. I don't got a combat action ribbon. I didn't go here. I didn't do that. You start minimizing
Yes,
your
man.
success. I
Yeah.
don't have this and I don't have that. Why would they talk to me? Right? But when you start really thinking about it, right, and you're like, wow. I put some deep thought into that because I knew in the back of my head is like, man, people are gonna talk about deployments. They're gonna talk about this. They're gonna talk about that. And I was like, what is my biggest regret? Right? What was my biggest sacrifice? And I sat and I spoke to my wife about it, and it clicked. It just clicked, and that's when I realized this is what I need to speak on.
Yeah.
It's that
Bro,
spirit.
everybody in this book has a story that will resonate with somebody out there, I guarantee you. So if you haven't got the Born to Risk Veterans Edition book, do yourself a favor and get it, because there are 30 short stories in that book, just like mine, just like Robbie's, just like T.O., just like Eddy's, that you will resonate with. And those are just small snippets, one of the risks we took while we were in uniform. And I'm just so impressed with the level of depth that this is what's crazy. John Vieira's chapter 9 talked about the responsibility that he felt to give to his son. I turned to chapter 10 to read your chapter, and I'm like, wow. Now you're talking about the relationship you wanted so deeply with your daughter. I don't have a son, but I absolutely resonated with what JV said. And then I turn the page, chapter 10, to read your chapter, and I'm like, I have 4 daughters. I feel just like Eddy Arce. Exactly how I feel. So minimizing and comparing our one story to another, they're not greater than the other stories in the book or any of the other stories in our careers. It's what did you do? How did you contribute? How did you lead? How did you care for the Marines under your charge that makes a difference to me? So, T.O., your mic is good.
Yeah, I should be good.
Yeah. We hear you.
I have a lot of respect for sergeants major, first sergeants. But again, in my observation, I see that carrying over to the civilian world and still wanting those things, and it being a cold, hard fact check, like, days are over, bro. You gotta get it out of the mud. You gotta prove yourself all over again because you're starting over.
Yes.
T.O., I know you mentioned this and you talked about it in your book. What's your perspective on why your compadres, your peers, specifically on the E9 side, the sergeant major side, have such a difficult time sometimes letting it go?
Man, well, first of all, I got a master guns and a master sergeant on here who muted my mic intentionally. You know what I'm saying? Master sergeant, master guns, sabotaging the sergeant major. Something's wrong with Robbie's mic. Something's wrong with my mic.
Yeah, man.
And we know, me and Robbie, we in the private chat, like, yeah, bro, they got us again, bro. They got us
Stu's
again.
calm. And I know Stu's calm too, man.
Calm.
Yeah, bro.
Man, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, Eddy has a background in combat camera too, don't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, see? Now he's ghost.
Yeah, there you go. Look at him, Jose Ayala. Ayala, look at what these dudes doing to us, Sergeant Major.
Man, shout out to Ayala, man.
They on freaking JP Corville. All the Sergeant Major out there. The Sergeant Major watching right now, Master Gunnery Sergeant. They know, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest though, man. All jokes aside, man, when I look in the chat and I see the Jose Ayala's, Stu, I see the JP Corvilles.
Okay.
Yeah, you good, Eddie. Man, I learned from those dudes. You know what I mean? Jose Ayala, man. Two-tone, bro. Cold game. Two-tone in the house, man. Like, I watched him. I watched his methodology as a hat. You remember RC, man? Like,
oh, we went, bro. Look. Me and Josue got story. We went to DI school together, bro.
Right.
We got stories. We checked in on the same day. I remember the first time I seen Josue walking into the into the building to check in. That motherfucker walked right by me like I was invisible. I was in Sydney's, bro. I was in a t-shirt and some jeans. This motherfucker, Mr. Robotic, bro. Yo, he just I was like, who? I said, oh shit, it just got real, bro. Like,
yeah,
okay,
man.
you know?
Yeah.
Hell, when the first time I met Clay, bro, I got brought to the barracks, and Clay is like, yo, let me show you around.
No
and
doubt.
that was the first person I met. First person I met. I checked in. Right. Bro, I wasn't even on deck yet. And Clay's like, yo, fam, what up? Young sergeant, let me show you around. This is 4th Battalion. And we walking around, and I was like, and then I get to work. And I mean, that's the first time I saw Rob, right?
Yeah.
Look, man, I was a young sergeant, bro. Right.
Yeah,
and I was hungry. I was ready. Right.
Yeah.
And then, bro, Rob is out there standing with Silvestri. couple other bum ass motherfuckers out there, bro. They just all standing on, right, just talking, right.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, like I want to be like them, right?
That's
And
deep,
that's
bro.
in my head thinking, right,
That's deep.
because
That's deep.
I was the new guy, right, and I
That's
wanted to
deep.
be accepted, and I was willing to do anything,
Yeah.
to be accepted by the company, right? Because I didn't
Right.
want to stand out. I didn't want to be the one that, no, hey, I don't want Arce on my team, right? And
Right.
that's putting my life issues to the side. I was
Right.
willing to do whatever it took to be part of India Company,
Right.
right? And there was a lot of growth on the island, dog. There was a lot of ups
Yeah.
and downs, a lot of bumps and bruises, man. But that was my first impressions. When I first met Clay, I was like, honestly, bro, I was like, this motherfucker my competition.
Right. That's real. That's real, bro. Speak,
That's
bro.
exactly how I
Teach.
looked at it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I said, bro, this motherfucker's presence, the way he's talking, I said, I need to step my shit up.
Yeah.
Right. And then I seen everybody standing up. We was on the range, bro. We was on the rifle range when I first checked into India Company. Right. And I saw it. I was like, oh, I remember, bro, I met Gunner Sean Hill. He was the first person I walked up to.
Shema.
He said that he told me, he said, you ready to work? And I was like, yeah, yes, Gunner Sergeant. He said, you call me Series Gunnery Sergeant. I said,
yeah.
Like I said, in the back of my head, I was like, oh shit, they're not playing. I said, Roger, that's
playing on the island, bro.
And he said, that's your platoon. Go check in with Staff Sergeant Camargo. Right. And I said, okay. And I started walking, and he said, hey, drill instructor, why the fuck you walking? Right.
Wow.
And that was the standard that was set for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And he meant that too, dog. Like
he did mean
that. Yeah, he meant that,
bro. He meant it, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, even on that crucible, bro, he handed me my he humbled me, bro. He humbled me. That motherfucker let me know he was in charge. And I ain't never, questioned it. I ain't never challenged it. I just knew there was a hierarchy.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to be part of that hierarchy, I was gonna have to work my way up.
Yeah, you gotta work, bro.
Eddie, you mentioned the competition, right? But it wasn't competition like I'm gonna undermine Clay in order to come up. It's like, nah, I see what this dude doing. I gotta match that.
Yeah.
That was just like the standard. And if you wasn't doing that and you wasn't sizing yourself up against the other hats that were in your company, man, you get left by the wayside, bro.
Yes.
Because the level of excellence and the demand be not being good wasn't good enough.
Everybody was good.
Oh,
everybody was good.
If that motherfucker was running, I'm running. Right?
Fast.
They on the parade deck popping sticks. I'm on
popping
parade deck popping sticks.
Yeah, bro.
Right. It was during a time, and look, I'm not knocking anybody's time down the depot, whether they were before me or after. I can only speak on the time I was there. And during that time, it was a very competitive time.
Oh,
we were all pushing each other to be great.
Yeah.
Whether I liked it or not.
Yeah.
Right. There was a lot of times I really wanted to put hands on some of these mugs. Right. I
did on Zapata.
Oh, there's a couple times, bro. There was a couple times, though. There's some people out there that know I put some hands on them, bro, and we leave it at that. No,
and you did it because you cared about them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I cared, but I also wasn't gonna let someone disrespect me either. Right. I wasn't gonna allow. The depot happens to, we go to the depot and it creates this aura. We start believing that the depot is its own world, and technically
it really is, dog.
It really is, bro. I tell people it's the only time in your career, regardless of rank, you're gonna feel like you live in that green monster. Yeah. Every basic fundamental as a Marine, regardless of rank, is enforced on that island.
Yeah.
Lance corporals recognize Lance corporals. PFCs recognize PFCs.
Right, tears on that island, boy.
Bro, we all respect each other from the top down. right? We all utilize the rank properly. We're not using isms.
Yeah.
No one's saying good morning, Gunny, right? Hey, top, right? It's
No.
good morning, Gunnery Sergeant. Good morning, Master Sergeant, right?
Yes.
And it when you leave that, and I'm not gonna lie, when I got to Okinawa after the depot, you know, I thought that shit was hard to adjust to. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't that I left, I couldn't leave the drill instructor shit alone. I couldn't believe that the Marine Corps allows this behavior.
Yeah.
And you know, the truth is the Corps never changed. Your standard just rose to a whole nother level. And you just don't realize it before you leave. You know, because most of us was top wherever we were and wherever unit we came from. When I was with 1-8, I won't say I was the best Marine in 1-8, but I was top 5, top 10%. You know what I mean? And I went down there just like you did, Eddie. I was a very young sergeant. Matter of fact, Paris Island was my second tour. It was I graduated DI school exactly 4 years and 1 day after boot camp.
Wow.
And
I gotta ask, fellas, because if I let this go past, I'm wrong. So the same question you asked him, why Sergeant Major, First Sergeants have a tough time letting it go when they leave the Marine Corps after 30. Some gave 32, 35, whatever it may be.
Too damn much.
What is the difference for the individuals that look at us and say they can't let the depot go? What's the difference?
Yeah, that's a very good comparison.
What's the difference?
That's a very good comparison. And fortunately, the transition from the depot back to the Fleet Marine Force and from active duty Marine to veteran is very comparable. And I just challenge those folks who can't let it go at the end. When you have to take the uniform off, think about the time when you had to transition from what was life on the depot and what was tolerated there. And then when you got back to your regular unit, you could not function the same way you did as a drill instructor.
No doubt.
In a Marine aviation unit, in an infantry unit, in a motor T unit, in combat camera. You got to turn the switch, and it is difficult.
Yeah,
it is, bro. I mean, look, man. If you look at a photo of a young Sergeant Arce prior to the drill field, I'm not gonna say I was a shitbag because I was not a shitbag, right? Like I was on my P's and Q's, but bro, my fade barely cussed. That motherfucker was right there, bro.
Boom,
right there. My mustache, bro. You could atrocious, right? I pushed the envelope, bro, I was all about going against the wave, right? Because I worked at headquarters Marine Corps. I knew policies. I knew orders. I had no problem fighting against them, right? And then I go to the depot, and I allow the depot to mold me. Right. And I allow it to influence me. And I leave the depot. I'm running high fades, no mustache. Shit. Some situations a bald head. Right. Camis are fresh. You know, and regardless of rank, I was out there every morning PTing, doing my thing. Right. Like I could not let that part of me go. Right. Because that became an influential image of myself to a lot of people. Right.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously you add the tattoos and everything like that. And it became very, it was an identity for myself who Arce, all the tattoos. And that's how people used to describe me, you know, because I mean, it was so bad at one point. I mean, we all remember when sleeves went down for those 4 or 5 years. Right. I mean, to the point we forgot what people looked like, you know, because some units don't ever wear Charlies. Right. Bro, when sleeves went back up, and I'm walking around sleep tatted all the way up. Bro, I had someone ask me, they let you in the Marine Corps with that?
Wow. Yeah.
I said, bitch, do you not see my collar? You know how long I've been in? There was a time when there was no significant tattoo policy. It existed, but no one was enforcing it.
Nah, not at all.
No one cared.
Not at all.
Except for Sergeant Major Black.
Eddie, when you think about where you came from and your journey, growing up, you're Puerto Rican. You come out of New York. Puerto Rican cats from New York come to the table with a different kind of swag. And that kind of swag is not always welcome. Talk about the brotherhood and how much love and respect we have for the Marine Corps. How did that play out for you, knowing where you came from, what your ethnic background was, and how you were treated because of those two things?
I tell you what, the most memorable situation I had one time, young corporal, we had field day. And this was during a time when field day was an event in itself.
Oh, Thursday night?
Thursday nights, bro. Doors are open, music playing. Everyone is in each other's rooms. We all bullshitting, cleaning at the same time. Motherfucking ironing eagle golden anchors on the toilet paper.
Yeah, we were.
Wow, you know, I'm laying out Leatherneck magazine next to the toilet. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what does the company guns like to see?
Yes.
Yo, break out the Marine Corps flag, lay that shit on the sofa.
Dog.
Yeah.
Pause, dog.
Yes.
What does the company guns want to see in my room?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
no
the key.
doubt.
That's the key.
Anybody fronting like that wasn't real, man. Come on. That's real right there, bro.
That's real.
Bro,
that's real.
That's what because bro,
that's
it was
real.
a competition, right?
Yeah.
Room of the week, right? Who we all wait for those fucking emails to say who had the room of the week, right? Hey, shout out to fucking room so and so. Yeah, fuck yeah, boy. Right? It was a sense of pride, right? And that's just for cleaning your room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This was a time when field days, you put all your personal shit in your wall locker and your room looked just like it was when it was issued to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
But one field day, and we all bullshitting, we drinking, and this white dude came in my room, and I knew him, right? Worked at the motor pool. I still remember it. And we all bullshitting, and he goes, "Hey, Arce, you pretty fucking cool." I said, "All right, that's what's up." He goes, "Where I'm from, people like you live on the other side of the tracks." Right? And initially, it struck a nerve. Right? I said, in my head, I said, this motherfucker, I'm about to slap this shit out of him. Right?
It struck a nerve with me just now.
Right? And then,
but people like you.
But then I took a step back, right? And he didn't say it in a derogatory way. He didn't say it to be disrespectful. He was talking about the differences of the upbringings, and he was simply recognizing it. Right? We weren't bumping heads. We wasn't ready to fight. He just simply wanted me to know that, yo, I never realized how cool you cats can be.
Yeah.
Because he was brought up a certain way. Right. But that's no different than me. I grew up in a predominantly Black and Hispanic neighborhood, Brooklyn, New York. Right. The truth is, white people were living on certain parts of town where the coffee shops were and the nice restaurants and the condos and shit like that. They weren't living in my neighborhood. So when I started meeting some of them, bro, and that's the one thing I will always be grateful for. The Marine Corps will allow you to experience different cultures and different personalities.
We talked about that last night.
My first roommate, bro, that motherfucker had me singing Shania Twain, bro. the most redneck motherfucker I have ever from Georgia, right? In the deep South, bro. And this motherfucker would be like, "Yo, turn on MTV," and I'll be like, "Oh, that's that Shania Twain jump off. Put that shit louder."
Yeah.
Right? I was just listening to some Component Noriega. I was just listening to some Biggie, whatever the case is. Now I'm listening to Shania Twain. I'm listening to country music. I'm listening, bro. If it wasn't for Mike Ramirez, I wouldn't be listening to Metallica. I wouldn't be listening to all these different music waters, right? And and here we are today. I still listen to a lot of that stuff, right? But it was a lot of growth. It was a lot of understanding. But it took a little bit of an adjustment. It definitely took coming from where I was at to where, like I said, bro, Fade was down here, bro. Fade was, bro, my C cups were looking fresh every week, dog. You know? couldn't tell me shit. But
Wow.
I was definitely grateful for it, man. And there's a lot of good laughs behind it, but it was a learning phase, bro. It was definitely a
Yeah.
learning phase, just being from where I grew up and what I knew. And me and Clay have these conversations a lot, bro. I'm like I said, stereotypical, bro. Father was a drug dealer. You know, I got family members using. I ran the streets all hours of the night. You know, to transition to being a true professional at all times.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You
Indeed.
know, being
Wow.
going back home to New York, and you never look in the mirror and say, "Oh, I can see the transition. I can see the change.
It just happened.
I can see how it influenced." You don't see it because in your
Yeah.
head you think you're the same person all day, every day.
Yeah.
But when I would go back to New York periodically, and I would see people that I used to run with, and they say, "Damn, bro," you know. I mean, they would use other words, but like I can tell, you know, like, oh, maybe I did change.
Yeah.
But one time made me realize I was significantly different than what I grew up in. Came back from Okinawa, and I had my daughter with me, and we went back to New York for the first time after being in Okie for 4 years. And I went to my grandmother's neighborhood, still lives in the projects, and I was in the grocery store just grabbing a juice for my daughter. And I came outside and I saw a cat I used to chill with. And he was like, "Damn, E, what up, nigga?" And we dapped each other up, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, "Where you been?" I said, "Oh man, I just got back from Okinawa, Japan." "Damn, nigga, you was out there with them Chinese niggas?" Bro, bro,
No.
when he said that shit,
Yeah.
I didn't even bother correcting him. I
Right.
didn't. I just
Yeah.
gave him that. I hugged him. I said, "Yo, I wish you the best, bro."
Yep.
And I kept it walking. That's
Yeah.
when I knew. That's when I knew. I was like, wow, my life is different.
Yep.
And that was the moment. That was the exact moment, bro. Yeah.
Wow.
And already at that time, I had been in the Marine Corps well over 10 years.
Wow.
You know, 12 years, whatever the case. Nah, not that long. Probably like 10 years.
Can I show you something, Eddie?
Yo.
What does this mean to you, bro? Can you talk to us a little bit about that, man?
Bro. That's a great man right there, bro. That's a great man. My neighbor's father, and he was never a retiree, right? But he was a prior nuclear submariner, and he served on the USS Ethan Allen, as you can see on his hat. Yeah. And he would his name was Bill, and he would frequent into my garage, right? Never needed an invite. If he saw my garage open, he would straggle his ass up the hill and walk into my garage. And I never had a problem with it. He was a carpenter. He taught me a lot. And actually my son's toy box in his room is still sitting there because he helped me build it. I have tools in my garage that he left for me after he passed away. Specifically a large circular saw. And that individual, he was a really good person, man. You know, he was proud of his service in the Navy, and we spoke on it a lot. And he was never big onto computers. He was a lot older, and he would print photos off, even stuff that I would share with him to his phone. He would print those images off, and he would put them in a book. And then when I would go talk to him in the garage, he'd pull out the book and he would show me images from his time on the submarine. He would show me images when he was with his fellow sailors, and throughout his life. And he really was an amazing person. And unfortunately, he passed away due to cancer. And when he passed away, I didn't tell his daughter that I was going to do that. I did it because I knew he didn't have a lot of friends out here. His personal group was very small, and in my own way, I was like, how can I thank this man, you know? And my skill set, obviously, I'm an artist by trade, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a portrait of him, and I'm gonna present it to his daughter.
Wow.
Bro, that
So
just speaks to the heart of brotherhood, how we can show love to people in ways that they don't expect.
Using your gifts.
Use
Yeah,
Well said, Robbie.
no,
Well said. Wow.
yeah, it was the only way I thought, I can allow this individual to live on, right,
Yeah.
in his own way. And I still talk about him today, man. He definitely was, and that is a perfect example of individuals who do a short time, and he only did 2 years. He was on
Wow.
a nuclear sub, and the Ethan Allen eventually was decommissioned. But every holiday, every Christmas, every birthday, I would present him something. I would give him something from that era, right? Whether it be a sign, a hat, a shirt, whatever that represented that era of his time attached to the Ethan Allen. And he would always hang it in the garage, right? And he would text me, "Hey, Eddie, come on over. Let me show you." And I go over to the garage and he would show me where he hung whatever I gave him, because that was his space. And yeah, he was a great person, man. He really was. He definitely was influential, and he definitely uh, provided a lot. He gave back a lot. Definitely,
Yes.
without me getting emotional, he gave back a lot, man.
Yeah. And that's why we love having these kind of conversations, because the hardest of the hard, we are still emotional creatures.
indeed.
And we love, and we run into people in our lives that have that kind of impact on us. It's hard not to get emotional when you think about the impact that this gentleman had on your life, making you a better man, a better father.
And it was right after I retired. You know,
Yeah.
we when we built our house, and then they moved in shortly after, and that relationship blossomed over 4 or 5 years eventually before he passed away, man. And
Yeah.
but nonetheless, it was he'll talk your ear off. He'll talk you for hours on end. And he was standing in that garage as long as I was in the garage working.
Mm-hmm.
uh but I also knew, man, if I was building something, custom, whatever I was doing in the garage, if he came to the garage, bro, I was gonna lose an hour easily.
Yeah.
I was gonna lose an hour because he was gonna just chat, chat, chat. But you know what, bro? I knew he didn't have that in his life, so I had no problem, sitting down and talking to him.
Yeah.
And he was a good dude, man. He was really a good dude.
Wow. All right, Eddie. I'm gonna read a paragraph out of the chapter in the book, right?
All right, bro.
And one of the reasons why we have these conversations is because we did contribute a chapter to this book, but our stories are so much more than what we wrote in the book. But something stood out to me. You said your career will end someday, but your role as a father never does. If I could speak to that kid leaving New York, I tell him that the real measure of success isn't how far you climb, but how well you stay connected to what truly matters. If I could speak to the master sergeant I once was, I tell him that nothing is more important than what is waiting at home.
I mean, that's pretty damn accurate, bro. um, yeah, man. Without trying, I really don't want to get emotional over this, man, but
God,
It's all
I'm
right,
tearing
bro.
up reading that,
It's all
dog.
right. It's all right, bro. That's
um,
what we do, man. That's what we here for. We 100, bro. You already
yeah,
know.
man. Look, man, my daughter, she came at a time in my life I didn't realize it was gonna come. It things with my wife at the time weren't great. You know, we was transitioning to Okinawa, Japan, and when she was born, bro, I didn't know. Again, I'm a new father. I didn't know what I was supposed to feel.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know, should I be happy? You know, when she was born, I didn't feel nothing. When I held her, I didn't feel nothing. Right? I started questioning myself, and then a couple days later, or maybe even a week, man, I can't be exact, bro. It was like I got punched out of nowhere. Like I got sideswiped with this wave of emotions, this wave of feelings. I was filled like it was like an empty cavity, and I got filled with something. And it created something in me that I now realized there was something more important than myself. Right now there was purpose. Now there was reason. You know, I could be the same person I always am, but at the same time was like, what can I do to show her to be better than me? Right. And I again, I still stand by that. I tell my kids all the time, like, I don't want you to set goals that I want for you. Right. I simply want you to be a better person than I was, or in some cases I am.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, my daughter will sometimes say things like, you know, you know, you're a good person, Dad, and all this other, and I think to her, and I said, I'm a good person to you. I said, but there's plenty of people out there that would probably disagree with you. You know, I look back at my career and I've done some heinous things to people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I simply, it's not even, and when I think about success, bro, again, I don't think about money. I just simply want her to be successful where all her life's needs and wants are fulfilled. And she's just simply happy. Right?
Yeah.
So when I think back, like even that young dude who was still trying to figure shit out in the Marine Corps, and now he's a brand new dad, I wish I could sit him down and say, bro, there's nothing that's never going to be more important than that little girl right there.
Indeed.
Right? There's never going to be a promotion warrant. There's never going to be you know, a deployment, a set of orders, nothing that's going to be more important than that little girl. Because at the end of the day, the Marine Corps will end for all of us. But being a father is forever.
Yeah, bro.
Damn.
Right? And even as a master sergeant, because there was a point in my career where I was gonna move on to be a master gunnery sergeant, and I had to weigh it. My son was just born. I got diagnosed with a neural disorder at the time. We started doing occupational therapy. We started doing speech therapy. There was just a lot of moving parts at the time, and I started thinking about, does my son deserve what my daughter experienced?
Wow.
Right?
That's deep. That's real, bro.
And I don't say that to be like
Lord have mercy.
like I did my daughter dirty, right? But there was a lot of learning. My first kid,
Yeah.
and we all know what that is, right? And
Yeah, bro.
I had to
The
think,
learning
like,
curve.
I said, you know, even my daughter, as she gotten older, she would call me on my shit. She would tell me about things that I'm doing for my son that I didn't do for her.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for me to explain. I didn't fucking know any better.
Yeah, man.
How do I tell you? How do I make you understand? I did not fucking know how important it was, you know, for me to do something or be somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And that's something
Especially
she may
with
never.
The job you have, you know. With
Yeah,
I mean, and I know we're not trying to make no excuses, but I know exactly what you're talking about, man. It's hard.
100%, 100%.
It's difficult.
Like, I mean,
yeah.
There are so many Marines and veterans that are currently dealing with what you dealt with, or they could totally relate to how you feel, because we all had a child and you gave a shit. Resonate with what you're saying, because we all made so many mistakes because we had not out of neglect.
No, not
out
at
of
all.
Obligation to military and putting the military's needs, in the Marine Corps specifically, putting the Marine Corps' needs over the needs of our own family, our own kids. And that is something that I don't know. I think I'm a better person today because of those sacrifices and those lessons learned and mistakes that I did make. It makes me a more humble person now. And I try to be just so full of gratitude, and teaching my kids, now that my daughters are mothers, don't do the same shit that I did.
Yep.
Because I fucked it up.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the biggest things is acknowledging it. You know, I've acknowledged, I've sat in front of my daughter and taken accountability for my shortcomings.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. I would never say I was a bad father because Lord knows I wasn't, but I definitely wasn't present.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And and I tell my daughter, you know, I'll never claim to be the greatest dad in the world. I'll never claim to be right all the time. Right. Well, what I will do is
Yeah.
admit to my shortcomings, admit to
That's
my
right.
failures. And only with your assistance can I repair that.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't know how to fix that because I don't know what I was doing, but I know I did something. Right. And
Yeah.
I need you as my daughter to let me know what I did wrong. Right. So I can fix that. Right. I'm
That's right.
not able to fix it because I can't go back in time. Right. But from this point on, how can I be better?
Yeah.
Right. And then even at the time when, you know, my wife was like, take the promotion, you know, do 2 years and then pop smoke. I really had to ask myself, you know, with my son in therapy, my son doing this, my daughter going through her stuff, is it worth it? You
Mm.
know, and one day, man, just driving to work, I just realized it just ain't worth it, man. It just wasn't worth it no more. And I happened to retire during the time during COVID. So I didn't get the
Same.
nice, beautiful retirement, right? I didn't get the flowers, I didn't get the ceremony, I didn't get the formations. They mailed me all my shit. They
Mm.
mailed me my warrant. They mailed me my certificates. They
That
mailed me
hurts
this,
my soul, bro.
bro. They mailed me this bum ass shadow box that they gave me,
Every
right? And I
time I
try to
hear
be
you
under,
say that, it hurts my soul.
That
Every
broke
time
and
I
my
hear you
heart.
say it, bro.
and
Hurts
Isn't
my
that
that
soul.
that was
what
that
you
was
would
hard.
love to just use that time to
And
give to your family?
because you know, we all wait
Mm.
20, 21, 30 years for that 30 to 45 minutes. That 30 to 45 minutes is imperative to closing out our career
Yeah.
and visually allowing our family to say, I am now done with this and now I'm committed to this, right? When in hindsight, you should have been committed the whole time, right? But but I didn't get that, right? So those I struggle with that a lot in my own demons, big time, bro, big time. And I went down a rabbit hole, man. And you know, I mean, my wife was ready to leave me. She was like, "Look, I'm not gonna tell you not to do this. I know this is what you like, but I can't be around for it." And that's how involved I was with that scene. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah.
And I really had to think, man, like what's more important, you know? And I decided to walk away from it and I had to accept that I wasn't gonna get that nice little closure and all that, and I really had to do some repair work on myself, you know.
Yeah.
And then when my daughter came to live with me, I thought that was the time to repair whatever I thought was broken, right? But in actuality, I did more damage than good, bro.
Yeah.
I really did, man. Like when I look, even these last 4 years when my daughter lived with me, 4.5 years, I I, I like to believe I did good, but in actuality, I know I did more damage because I try to make up for the last 17 years in a 4 year span,
And you
right?
can't.
I wasn't listening. I wasn't understanding. I was just, this is how it's gonna be, right? And I thought I was doing the right thing, and in hindsight, maybe I got a lot of learning to do, right? I really do,
Yeah.
and I can only hope in life moving forward that there's an understanding at some point, right? Um, I can only say sorry so many times, right? I can only take accountability for my shortcomings so many times. It's like, at what point do we repair this, right? I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to give the effort, right? But what do I got to do, right? And there's no answer
Yeah.
to that, really. It's
Yeah.
just making yourself available. It's listening. And I don't mean by buying you stuff and spending money on, and that's not what I mean, right? Obviously, I can provide more now than I could when I was raising you, and that's another thing, right? How do you
Yeah.
explain to your oldest child, look, your youngest brother is living the lap of luxury, you know,
Yeah, man. I
and you
know.
had a struggle, right? Right? You look, mommy and daddy we ain't have funds like that, right?
Nah, not
We
at
paid the
all.
bills and we got by, right? And now, some right decisions, some right investments, money's a little bit better, but my son is reaping the rewards of that. My son is
Absolutely.
in every damn sport you can possibly play, right? He's in skills camp, soccer, football. And my daughter never had that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So can I fix that? Of course I can't, right? But moving forward, I hope that I can at least be there when she needs me.
Absolutely.
And that's really all I can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, last paragraph in your chapter that really cements everything that you just said, Eddie. Because at the end of every rank, every deployment, every billet assigned, there's an acceptance that the uniform must come off. What's left is just you, your family, and the children who made it all worth it. I think that is a phenomenal way to close out a chapter and doing like some really deep reflection about what it takes to get to where we have gotten in our lives. Because when the music stops and the uniform comes off and you come home,
look, man,
that's when
the best way I can describe that, brother, is all four of us, we made the decision to walk away.
Yeah.
Right? We could have all kept going. We could have continued on to 30 years. And there's plenty of us that are no longer wearing the uniform because they was told they had to get on, or they did the 30 years. Because we all know people that would, if they had the opportunity, would keep going past 30 years if they could. Because they have nothing else, right? The Marine Corps is simply a chapter in my life, right? It's simply a part of my life that allowed me to grow, right? It's not everything I am, right? I don't talk to people and say, and my only thing I can speak on is me being a Marine. There's so much more value to who I am than me being a retired Marine. And it's like, I try to tell people, like, I don't talk about the Marine Corps like that, right? Other than me trying to get a discount, I don't talk about that shit like that. Nothing. Right? But at the same time, there's a lot of people that try to get those discounts and feel entitled to those discounts. Right? And there's a lot of people, when you ask for this, I'm sorry, we don't give that. And there's people that are offended by that. Right? And I'm like, you don't have to apologize. You don't owe me anything. This is a volunteer force. I was not drafted. No one put a gun to my head to put a uniform on. Right? I did this because and the truth is, everyone has their own reason on why they put the uniform on, right? Whether it be school, money, poverty, whatever the case is, right? We all had a reason at some point why we wanted to join the service, right? But at some point, you evolve.
Yes.
And you realize there's so much more value to serving than just the monetary value, the benefits, right? It's the people you meet. It's the growth that is allowed in your life. It's the mentorship. And I don't mean leadership. I mean the peer mentorship. Call me on my bullshit. Right? If I'm wrong, then I expect T to be like, yo, E, I got to talk to you. What you did was wrong. Right. And I got to fucking take that slice of humble pie and listen. Right? Or John Vier calls me and tells me, right? But at the same time, I got to be willing to tell those people the same thing. I wouldn't be able to call you a friend or a brother if I wasn't holding you accountable to the same thing. Just like I expect you to hold me accountable.
That's right. Wow. Man. Boy, this is
one question. Man. Yeah, one question, Eddie.
What's up, bro?
What do you want people to take from your chapter, bro? Straight up and down. What do you
want?
Bro?
In life, there's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. There's gonna be success. There's gonna be failures. Never forget what's important. Don't ever lose value on what's important. And to me, that's where I lost value in that because I put value in something else.
It's powerful, bro.
And that's the biggest thing, man. If it's valuable to you, hold on to it.
Yeah.
And don't put look, man, at the end of the day, the Marine Corps is going to continue to move without you. Right?
Indeed.
One day your name is on the door. Right? That's your
Teach, bro.
office.
Teach.
And the next day, someone else is sitting on your desk. And that placard is no longer on the door. Right? The Marine Corps will continue to move on. It will continue to evolve and it will continue to change.
That's right.
But that family at home, that wife, that child, son, daughter, whatever the case may be, right? Whatever you hold, valuable to your life, that shit is always going to be there, man, before and after the Corps. And at some point in my career, I lost sight of that. And I recognize it. I take accountability for it. And then, but
you're not by yourself, bro. All of us did. Every single one of us, bro.
Yep.
That's a fact, Eddie. Like every one of us, dog. When you look at the chapters across that book, from all branches of service, the representation, you could really hear it. You know what I mean? You can hear from chapter 1 with Dr. Vinnie Cochran all the way through to Alicio, the last chapter. You can literally hear the sacrifice being more than just service.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like the real sacrifice. Some of us, we have stepchildren. Some of us went through divorces. Some of us, have dealt with loss. Like, dog, how many Marines have we seen who lost their spouse?
Mm-hmm.
I know several Marines, dog. You look on Facebook and they lost their spouse, bro. Some right when they retired. Like they put in all the work to come home. And then within a year, their spouse passed away, bro. You know
or
what
they
I'm
get
saying?
divorced afterwards.
Oh, divorce.
Yeah.
And I went through that. You know what I'm saying? And I had to watch the fallout from it. And it's unfortunate. There was a lot of learning occurring during that time. But the biggest thing I can realize is, as much as I can sit here and say a lot of learning occurred and a lot of, really, bro, it wasn't until I was done that I actually have time to sit down and realize what I did wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't while I was in, when I was wearing the uniform, and I could sit here and have these conversations all day in the uniform, right? Because it becomes part of your career, right? Just speaking to people, right? Hey, Top, you got time to talk to these Marines? Yeah, I'll talk to them. It almost becomes cut and paste.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Right. And but it wasn't until after I got out and I was ready to just be Eddie that I start realizing, holy shit, I did a horrible job at this. And really, really, my son being born kind of made me realize how bad of a job I did with my daughter.
I think that's the evolution of parenting, man. And I want to say, I know you're going to kick yourself in the ass and say, man, I did a bad job. But I think we've all been there. And I can look at the genesis. I have 6 kids, man. I have 4 girls and 2 boys. My youngest is 6 and my oldest is 24. And I know that my sons told me, my 17-year-old son told me, he was like, man, you raised the little ones like your granddad, man, and they see that evolution and they see that we live in this house and they see what they grew up in. They wasn't allowed to have, they didn't grow up in poverty, the military provided, but we were moving around. They didn't have a chance to have an elementary school and grow up with childhood friends. You see what I mean? So they were robbed. So I know I'll spend the rest of my life explaining that to them. But the best thing that we can do is, like you said, man, everything ain't going to be all peachy keen all the time, but we are going to continue to move forward. One thing's for sure, she'll always be your daughter. You'll always be your father. So the relationship amend itself, but I don't think you have anything to make up for, man. You just got to continue to move forward, man.
That's all you can.
And do stuff that you did it just like in this, man, because I learned a lot from just your chapter alone and, the other authors, man. And for anybody listening, man, thank y'all all for tuning in. But anybody listening, man, you could take some great takeaways. And I took a couple notes down, man, and I just wanted to throw it out, man. The greatest takeaway is you can have the greatest promotions, all the accolades, all the awards. They're all meaningless if the people that you love only know your accomplishments, but you're not present with them. So anybody watching, anybody listening, learn from the story, man. Wise people learn from the path of others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Yes, ambition can build a life, but unchecked ambition can quietly destroy that same life that you're trying to build.
Absolutely.
Man,
Yeah.
Showing
Eddie, I'm gonna show you this, Eddie, and this I was looking for it, man. I said, I know I got it. And man, I found it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Look at
I
y'all.
found it. But dog, that feeling of seeing Eddie that day out at Camp Pendleton, California.
Man.
Like, dog, I saw my brother, dog. Like, we've all experienced it, bro. Like, you and
Because you did.
Alicio, Robbie were on deployment in Iraq together. You know, you and Ramirez, Eddie, you know, you and Fripp, Stu Mena, and
Yeah.
Gillen, and so many
Yeah.
brothers, Stephen Patrick Roberts. Dog, it's like when you see your brother, dog, when you see your brother, and how we started this episode tonight, in those trenches that we were in together, dog. Like, dog, you can put us on the moon and it's gonna be the same feeling every time. And man, I thank you, Eddy Arce, for being my friend, bro. Just that by itself, dog. Just being my friend, bro. Being my true brother. I could call on, I could cry to, and talk to you about anything under the sun, bro. And you come through with us tonight, break bread with us, man, and share real vulnerability, bro. You're a stronger person for it, bro. You're a better man tonight because you can sit here with us and speak truth. So a lot of people still hiding, bro. A lot of cats is muzzled right now, and they trying to keep images. And bro, trust me, man, you broke that mold, you know, a long time ago, man. And we just thank you, bro. I mean, you know, you are family no matter what it is that we do.
Yeah, fact, man. No doubt.
You involved. I thank you for saying yes when I called you. I know you, Eddie. I know for you, it's like, bro, like,
bro,
man,
you
get
already
out
know,
of here,
bro.
Clay. Yeah,
Look,
bro.
Look,
Get out of here, Clay. I ain't trying to write no books, man. Like, get out of my face with that crap, bro. But you said yes, and you took ownership of it. And when I read your chapter again, man, just like with JV, just like Alicio, all of us, bro. Like, dog, that was near and dear in here, bro. Because I've been there with you through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll call me, yo, what did you do with Neonce when it came to this and when it came to that? And it goes way deeper than what we've been saying for the last 3 nights. It goes way deeper than the uniform, bro. So as parting words to you, bro. I love you. I'll pass it to Stu and Robbie, man, and we'll get up out of here, bro. Love you, bro.
Yeah.
No doubt. Love you, brother.
Eddie, man, what you just did tonight is gonna help somebody.
That's all I can ask for, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who it's gonna be, but my faith in the universe and men like us allowing ourselves to be vulnerable is going to help somebody avoid the pitfalls that we fell into. Those pitfalls helped us become who we are right now. But if we can help somebody avoid running into that ditch and say, look, young blood, you can be a great Marine and you can be a great father.
Oh, yeah.
It can be done.
Yes.
And I'm going to show you how not to do what I did to almost fuck it up.
Yep.
I don't know who that Marine is going to be or who that service member is going to be. But I really believe in my heart that what you just said tonight, what you wrote in chapter 10 in the Born to Risk Veterans Edition is going to help somebody avoid a bad situation. And I can't say thank you enough.
I'm grateful for the opportunity.
For sharing.
Bro. Yeah.
Robbie, you want to close us out?
Yeah, man. I just want to say thanks again, Eddie, for coming through, man. Thank you all for coming through in the chat. You'll find, man, the most courageous leaders, they periodically, just like Eddie did, they redefine what winning looks like. You know what I mean? We think it may be chasing this, the high, you know, whatever the standard, the organization that you're a part of. You may think it, whatever the highest PFT, shooting the best, running the fastest, all those little things that get you to the next step in your organization. However, don't forget who's sitting around the dinner table back home. And so you reassess yourself, took a look in the mirror, and now you're making some adjustments, and that's all we can do.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, gentlemen, I'm grateful for the opportunity, man, and I don't mean just being part of that book, man, which is historic in itself with the gentlemen that I've been allowed to be graced with their presence, but you know, there's some friendships and relationships that will follow me to my deathbed, man, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, even to be on with these with you, giants among men, you know, like. Look, man, I learned a lot from you individuals. I learned a lot, you know, just moving on in growth, you know. And like I said, man, I'm just grateful. I really am, bro. There's certain individuals in your life that you would meet that you would die for, right?
Indeed.
You know, and you know, Clay knows, bro, that without skipping a beat, yo, fam, I need you. I'm dead.
Yeah, 100%.
Whose car we taking?
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
Boom.
Right?
That's it, man.
Indeed, bro.
You know, there's not many people that are like that, right? You know,
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, man, that could be a shortcoming on my part too, bro. But you know, I'm always look, bro. The heat. What we doing? Yeah, what we doing? Who pissed you off?
Right. Man,
You know
shout
what I'm
out
saying?
to Lee C. Jones. I see Lee C. Jones out there. What
I
up,
love
Lee?
John.
Lee
Jones?
Jones.
Yeah, I see
Big
Lee.
guy, Lee Jones in the house. We
I
see
love
you,
you,
baby.
John. I went to the high school with Jones, my brother.
Wow.
Man. I haven't seen him
Yeah,
in a hot
man.
minute either.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
see
Thank you, Eddie.
Scanes on. Yeah, no doubt, brother. I appreciate you
Scanes,
for having me,
yeah,
bro.
man.
Hey,
It's
Skanes.
some real G's that came through tonight, boy.
Hey, I
They
was
came out for you, Eddie. They came out
Oh,
for you
yeah.
tonight, Eddie.
Again,
Real
I'm
talk.
grateful, man.
Louis.
I'm grateful, bro. Like I said,
Yeah.
man, that shit could have been an empty room, bro, for all I care. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you, gentlemen, man.
Oh man,
Yeah.
special, bro.
We're all better for it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, and Clay, thanks for reminding me. I need to get my ass back in the fucking gym with that goddamn photo you just.
Yeah.
Yo,
It's
you
all
didn't see them
good.
arms, dog?
Yeah, no doubt, 100%. All right, fellas. Hey, man, thank you all for rocking with us tonight.
Yes,
It's
sir.
very special, man. Near and dear. It's just such a blessing, dog. And I think the word that we're ending tonight with gratitude, man. Just real gratitude, bro. Real gratitude. Yeah, man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Love y'all out there. Yes,
Love
sir.
you, bro.
Love y'all, man.
Peace.
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 Man.